Hi, Paul Donovan here from avtechnician.ca, your YouTube channel for tips and tricks on how to become an AV technician. Today I'd like to celebrate the fact that I have 10 videos on the channel already. I've already reached about 84 subscribers, and I want to say thank you to those who are watching my videos and subscribing. It's great encouragement for me to continue to make more movies, more videos. So I decided today that I would cover a few questions that I get from people, and then see what kind of things I can tell you about AV technician and being an AV technician. So here's the first question that is usually resounding in a lot of people's minds. Who are you? People are asking me who I am. Well, my name's Paul Donovan, and I've been doing something associated with audio and video since I was a teenager, which is far too many years ago for me to want to think about because it's like 40 years ago. I first started doing sound services within the church that I was at, and basically at that time it was a very simple mixer, a microphone that I would hang on to the preacher, and then of course there would be hand mics for different people who were singing the solos and so on. It was very primitive by today's standards, but it was pretty much standard in a lot of churches of the day. And that's where I got my start. Then I moved up to working in the local community cable television system, where our church was invited to produce a show, a weekly show, and so I got involved with that. Both started off in front of the camera, playing a bass guitar. Then I moved behind the camera, operating the camera. Then I moved into the control room where I operated the sound. Then I moved on to the switcher, and then moved on to full directorial. Wow, big title. I had intended to go to Mohawk College back there, and this was talking about the late 70s, to join the TV and radio broadcasting program, but instead my family decided to pack up and head on south to the mission field, and so I ended up joining them, of course, and never did pursue the education. So that I started doing more professional AV about 14 years ago. That will put me in 2002, 2001 era. I started doing audiovisual then because I just was good at it, and I thought, well, why not get involved? And so I started doing freelance for one company. Got signed up with a couple others, but I ended up focusing most of my attention on the AV company that I do most of my work for in Vancouver. So that's a little bit about who I am. I also started my own production company, a video production company, producing videos for different corporate needs, award banquets, product releases, press conferences, and things like that. So that's question one, who are you? Question number two is, why are you making YouTube videos? Well, I like making videos, I like teaching, I like to teach people about how to do things. And so many times I look on YouTube for how-to about so many things. I said, let me contribute back. And so when I was trying to find a topic of what maybe I could do to create a YouTube channel, I saw somebody said, why not make videos about what you know how to do well? Well, I like to do AV work, and so I chose to do avtechnician.ca. So there you see, that's why I'm doing it. Yes, I do hope that this will turn into a profitable venture where thousands and thousands of people will watch my video, and my monetization will make it possible for me to get a little compensation for the work that I do to create these videos. But in the last 5 months, this has been a labor of love. It has not been able to produce generate any income for me. So at this point, I have to say that my sum total of my real income has been $5. Wow. And a lot of it was not from YouTube, it was from Google AdSense. So there you go. Number three question often asked for me is, did you go to school to learn how to become an AV technician? The way to answer that is no. I did not go to school to become an AV technician. Do I feel it is needed to go to school to become an AV technician? Maybe not. But you do have to have some aptitude for what is happening with AV equipment, an aptitude for working with electronics. And since a lot of it is sound oriented, you actually have to have decent hearing so you can hear a little bit better what's going on in the sound things. Even though I was originally hired as a freelancer to do video work, I find that the vast majority of the work that I do is tending to lean on the sound side. So, question 4. When did you start? How did you start up in AV? I think I started to mention that in question 1. I got my start back in the late 70s when I joined the community cable television channel, and I started producing a 1-hour show for our church, and I ended up becoming the director and producer for the show. And at the ripe age of 17, yes, with no training. It was great. So question 5 is, how do I handle the varied schedule, the lack of control, and of course, lots of time off? Well, I have to admit that I don't handle it very well. The bulk of AV work happens in the spring and the fall, with a very large break over the summer period. So between mid-June until mid-September, I get almost no work at all. That's almost 3 months with no income, at least from the freelance side. And then, of course, then we get the Christmas time of most of December and most of January, pretty much 2 months of the year off as well. So that's pretty much 5 months of the year for which I'm generating no freelance income. Pretty sparse, and it really makes it, well, it would be great for scheduling because you know you're going to have the time off, so why not make time to head out and take holidays and so on? Yeah, well, that also requires money, and unless I've kept up with my bills and paid all my bills and expenses on time and put some away, I'm probably not going to be traveling anything serious. But that's a wishful dream. Question 6. Should I start as a freelancer or start up my own company, like self-employed? Well, that's a tricky question. Freelancing means that it's used to pick up some spare cash. I know a lot of the guys I work with all do this as a full-time basis. They get listed with a few different companies. They also have the same cycle, busy, 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 and then nothing, 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 and busy, 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 then nothing, nothing, then busy, busy, busy. So they're all like me. They all have the same type of schedule. And it is really hard to make any plans and predictions because you really don't know how much work you're going to get in a period of time. During the really busy times, you're working 40, 50 hours a week, sometimes even more, sometimes 6 and 7 days a week. It really takes a toll on you. And when the downtime comes, unless you've been putting away money, things are pretty tight, and then your holidays, and, well, you see how it goes. As for starting your own company, I'm sorry, as much as I believe in small business, you really need to assess yourself how that works, because to start up your own company does require a lot of bravery. You have to be courageous to do that, and you have to figure out how it's going to work for you financially. You have to look at the legal aspects of setting up a company. So I think you really need to do your own self-evaluation on that one. Question number 7 is one that I have fun with. It says, have you met any famous people? Well, probably the most famous person most of the world might know is the famous British comedian John Cleese. I had the privilege of attending an event in downtown Vancouver where I was the AV technician for the event. I got to go up to him, say hello to him, put a lavalier microphone on to him, greet him. Alas, I didn't have my phone with me to do a selfie, so I can't even show the picture off. I was so sad because I forgot to get a picture. I have also put a microphone on Governor Sarah Palin, if any of you remember her. She was a controversial person in the United States, tried to become a presidential candidate or vice presidential candidate. I have put microphones on the former president of Pakistan. I have put a microphone and worked with former Vice President Cheney when he came to do a conversation. And I attended during the Winter Olympics of 2010. AV technician was for an event of what was called to meet the head of states. That's when the head of state of Canada, Michael Jean, the Governor General of Canada, came to meet the other heads of states that were coming to Vancouver for the Olympics. And so I was in a room of people that were dukes and duchesses Her Royal Highnesses and His Royal Highnesses and all those types of things. I don't believe there were any kings or queens in the room, but you never know. There could have been people here there that were of the equivalent type. So there you see, I have met a few famous people, but of course I met them, but that doesn't mean I had conversation and all that kind of stuff. Question number 8. What happens when you travel for work? Well, like anything, you pack your suitcase and you decide how long you're going to be away. But one of the things when you're doing AV work is that you work before the clients come in, you work all through the event, and then you work after the event is over. You really don't have an awful lot of time to yourself to get out and explore and enjoy the places that you're traveling to. So you tell people you're traveling to some exotic place, like I've traveled as far east as Montreal. I've traveled to Paris, France. I've traveled to Nagoya, Japan, Kobe, Japan, all the way to Seattle, Washington. You know, I've traveled a fair bit related to work and indirectly for work. And the problem is that the work overwhelms you and you just do not have time to get out and enjoy. So there's an important thing. Now, generally, when you're hired to go out of town, the company is responsible for all your travel costs, for all of your food and meal costs, your accommodations, transportation at the local area. They are responsible for that, and they have their guidelines. At least in Canada, the Canada Revenue Agency has guidelines about what an employer is required to pay for meal expenses, transportation, and accommodations and such. And so you have to work with the company, a client or a company that you're working with to get what you need. An interesting question that came up is question number 9. How do you deal with conflict of interest? Now you ask, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, when I have my own production company, and then I go out and work freelance for other companies. When I'm working freelance, I can't be talking about my own company and the work that I do, and I certainly cannot be out there poaching the clients that I'm working for on behalf of the other company. And so it's a very tight line you have to walk through to be sure that you're not trying to poach the work of the people who are hiring you, which in this case is an AV company hiring you, and likewise you also want to do your best job possible, because if by some chance the client suddenly discovers that you are also an independent production company, if on their own, not by anything you say, they might eventually say, wow, I really like the service that Paul did. Maybe I'll hire Paul directly instead of going through the AV company. Well, again, you have to also bear very careful attention that you don't steal work from the company that you are actually representing. Last question, question number 10. What's next? Well, in terms of this channel, I want to continue to produce material. I want to continue to create videos that are useful, timely, informative. But I also want to try to keep my videos a little bit shorter. I've had the trouble of being a run-on mouth like this video, where I tend to make the videos go a little bit too long. So I want to try and see if I can't make things work a little smoother. And so what I'm going to try to do is create all of my next videos that are coming up to keep them 5 minutes or so, 5 to 7 minutes in length, that keep the tips short and sweet. But I want to make a lot more videos. I want to build this channel, and I hope you too will want to watch my videos. So watch, there it is. I'm going to stop there. This is my Q&A session, already run far too long. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, please like this video, click subscribe, because that's important for us, for me, for doing my channel. Also check out my website at www.avtechnician.ca, where I'll soon be adding material that does not show up on the YouTube channel, and there you'll be able to learn more about being an AV technician, tips and tricks. Paul Donovan here, thank you for watching and have a nice day.